Hey there guys, how's it going? And welcome to a new video in my Black Ops 2 Gold Gun series. Now, in my last video I asked you guys what gun you'd like to see next, and the Swat 556 was an extremely popular choice. I don't think many people were using this weapon, so I wanted to use it and give you guys some tips as to how to best utilize this weapon. And I have to say, after getting to really know this weapon inside and out, I think it is an absolute beast. It really reminds me of the M16 from COD 4, and I think a lot of people are put off by burst weapons these days. We've got such powerful automatics in this game, submachine guns with 50 round magazines, high power, higher fire rate submachine guns that, you know, it's a little bit off-putting to try out a burst weapon. However, if you use it in the right way, as with most of the weapons in this game, it can absolutely dominate. And this setup, I have to be honest, I was kind of tempted not to share my exact setup with this weapon, because it is just so good that, you know, once a lot of people using it, it's going to become slightly more annoying. But what kind of commentator would I be if I didn't share, you know, the best secrets that I've found? So anyway, the Swat 556, this is a high power weapon, but it's got a slow fire rate, and it will kill in one burst over practically any range. I think it's up to about 150 odd meters, which in practical terms, you're not really going to get many gunfights longer than that. So if you treat it so that you probably are going to need 2 bursts, then you will 90% of the time get the kill. Obviously, providing they're running straight on, it's going to be a lot easier to get all of the burst onto them, and that's the key with this weapon. It's getting the whole of the burst onto the opposite player. A lot of people try and use select fire with this weapon, and I would definitely recommend against that. If you like automatic guns, go for an automatic gun, because when you put select fire on this, it doesn't just turn into a high power weapon. It actually turns into a 4-shot kill, and the damage range drop off is terrible. So basically it becomes like an M27. However, you're having to use an attachment to turn it into an M27. So why not, if you want to do that, just use the M27. For sure, mess around with it, give it a try, maybe you'll really like it. But to turn this into a beast, keep it with the burst fire, guys, and just maybe adjust your game style slightly as to how I'm doing here, and you'll just wreck people. You really will. Now, this gun favours aiming down sight, so the two things which I suggest to attach to this gun are the stock and the MMS. Now, the MMS obviously you could change out for a red dot or any other decent sight, but I tended to find that having this MMS ability to scan through walls is really helpful. A lot of people don't expect you to be running an MMS, and they will sit behind cover, and if you put a silencer on it, of course it's going to affect how strong you can fire through cover, but you can actually change that out to maybe extended mags. I'm using silencer in a lot of these clips, but I tend to find extended clip even is a good attachment to use with this. So I would definitely go stock and a sight. Now, in some of my Destination Diamond videos, I was hip firing this a lot with laser sight. Again, that's not bad, but that's kind of in emergency only situations. You don't want to be firing from the hip if you can help it, but I tended to try that out just to see what it was like. But to be honest, I think this is my ideal setup. Now, in terms of perks, you can play around with your perks, go with whatever you really fancy, but the one I would definitely put on is toughness, I would say, because it's all about getting all of the burst onto the player. And obviously, while you're being shot, your player will flinch, their aim will move all over the place, so anything that can help you to get every single bullet onto the opposition is going to be good to use with this. Now, I've got EMP grenade. There is something to use. A lot of you know by now, EMP grenades are absolutely beautiful for not only getting score, you know, people without radar, they really don't enjoy it. And I use scavenger because not only will that refresh my EMP grenade, which gets me a lot of kills, not a lot of kills even, a lot of points. And EMP grenades and concussions, they're not all about, you know, finding out, just flashing people and making them dazed and confused. It's about finding out where the opposition are by getting hit markers in certain areas. So I find the EMP grenade to be absolutely perfect for that. You can see I've got scavenger, of course, which helps with that. And I tend to find if you've got scavenger available, I'd definitely go for that over a secondary. I mean, they cost the same amount of points, just 1 point for each one. And, you know, if you're going to run a primary weapon with all these attachments and use it a lot, why not use that more rather than gun, have to switch out to a secondary. I can understand it can be very useful in some situations where you've run out of ammunition, need to reload, so you swap to the secondary. However, as long as you can play carefully in a careful game style, you will be okay. Now, I have to say, although this is an absolute monster of a setup, it's not going to be great for kill confirmed. Probably not for game modes like maybe headquarters or hardpoint, something like that. Possibly capture the flag, but it is if you're going to play it right. I'd say kill confirm's the one that I definitely wouldn't use this setup on. Any setup where it's for kill confirmed, I normally run an SMG or a shotgun. But if you can put space between you and the opposition, you'll outgun them a lot of the time with a setup like this. If you're a player who runs around with a submachine gun, which I know a lot of people are, and they play aggressively, you can't just switch to this weapon and use it like that. You'll lose out a lot. You'll tell me, Jay, this is a terrible gun. Why are you even suggesting this thing? You have to play with it like I'm doing here, and it's not very natural for a lot of people to play this defensively. I mean, it kind of is defensive, but in a way it's not. Adding the stock onto this gun really helps you because you can aim down sight, which will give you a nice scan of the area. You can stay on target and very accurate, but you can also move relatively quickly. I think the stock is a great attachment for a gun where you need to be aiming down sight a lot. Sometimes it is good for submachine guns and things, meaning you can be more accurate, but for something like this where accuracy is the key, instead of just running and gunning, stock is just a brilliant attachment. So I haven't actually suggested stock before in one of my videos, but for this gun I'm gonna. So as you can see, I'm absolutely tearing people apart. I've got this and another brilliant setup ready for my next gold gun video. Although I might not do that gun gold, I might wait for it. I want to hear what you guys want to see gold and what you guys want to see in terms of maybe get some tips on a gun that maybe you're not using, or just you'd like to see my opinions on how to best use it, because I know I learned a lot from this gun, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will be able to try out this setup as well and really improve your game potentially. So that's it for now. If you're watching this on my page, there are links up the top to more of my gold gun videos, and don't forget to leave a comment saying what you'd like to see next. If you're watching this on Machinima Respawn, these are uploaded a week earlier at least on my channel, as well as lots of other content that I'm sure you'll enjoy, so go subscribe over there if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys soon.